14.2 Design exercise programs. Here is evidence of my client consultation as I am showing parts of my PAR-Q and lifestyle questionnaire. Here is my client's profile, and here are my client's targets. They are to decrease heart rate, build muscle mass and strength of the upper body. Within 3 weeks, they would have liked to decrease their heart rate slightly and increased in strength, and their long-term results after 6 weeks, they would like to decrease their heart rate further, increase their strength more than by the 3-week mark, and increase their size and muscle mass. They will be measured through a heart rate monitor. Muscle mass will be done with visuals and weight, and muscle strength will be done through a hand grip dynamometer. For the first week of training on Tuesday afternoon, my client is put down to do a 5-a-side football match. Before the football begins, I will get my client to perform a warm-up. This will include a pulse raiser of going for 2 laps around the pitch, followed by dynamic stretching of heel flicks, high knees, opening and closing the gait, lunges with an upper body twist, arm rotations and ankle rotations. Each dynamic stretch should be performed over the width of the pitch one way and jogged back, with each different stretch performed twice. After this, the main session will begin of 40 minutes of 5-a-side football. This is because 5-a-side football is a high-intensity sport and will require a high cardiovascular endurance. This means that his cardiac muscle will grow, beginning cardiac hypertrophy, allowing for his heart rate to lower, as it eventually adjusts to the intensity over the 6 weeks by being able to pump more blood out per beat with the extra gained muscle. Also, my client filled out that they enjoy working out socially, so playing a team sport is a great way to make sure that he is performing exercise with others. The frequency of this will change as I will get to my client to perform different sporting activities throughout the 6 weeks. Each half is 20 minutes, making for an overall of 40 minutes of mid to high intensity working, with a 10-minute break in between. This will fall under the category of fartlek training, as in the sport there are many different changes in speed, and not just a constant pace throughout, making the changes in speed fartlek. This will also increase the efficiency of the aerobic energy system, as my client will be working for a long period of time and using their aerobic energy system. Using your aerobic energy system, it allows the body to become more efficient at doing so, working long time in the future. I can progress this session in the coming weeks by either increasing the length of time the games are played for, or by getting my client to perform additional exercise after the game. After the exercise has stopped, I will get my client to cool down. This consists of static stretching, focusing on the areas of the hamstring, quadriceps, gluteus maximus, gastrocnemius, abdominals and pectoralis major. These stretches are to be held for 8 to 10 seconds and will be done twice round. If they are unable to perform any of these stretches, an alternative can be using a foam roller or one of the footballs they've played with, providing it is pumped up, as they can work as well, and use it to go over the muscles instead of having to stretch them. I will also get them to perform a light jog around half the pitch and then walk around the next half of the pitch also to lower their pulse. Wednesday is the final day for training for the first week, as I do not want to overwork my client as they have other plans and are only just starting a new program. However, on the Wednesday I've planned a gym session for my client to partake in. This is because in the gym there are a lot of resistance exercises that can be done which are good for building strength and muscle mass, which are 2 of my client's goals to achieve. I will start off my client's gym session by warming up. I will achieve this by using a pulse raiser, being a jog on the treadmill for 3 to 5 minutes to get the blood flowing around the body. The next will be a series of dynamic stretches of the upper body, so performing slow arm rotations in small circles to larger circles, shoulder rolls, arm rolls, triceps overhead, arm across the body, and finally using a wall stretch. Each of these stretches is to be performed for 30 seconds and gone through twice. On to the main session, which will consist of 3 sets of 8 reps of these exercises: bench press, shoulder press, bicep curl, tricep extension, upright row, weighted sit-ups, and seated leg press. Hamstring curls. This will be followed up with 20 minutes of cardio on the bike at around 50% of my client's max heart rate. This will help increase his cardiac muscle strength. Finally, it will end with a cool down consisting of static stretching of the body which are to last for 8 to 10 seconds. Each stretch are for the pectorals, biceps, triceps, trapezius, rotator cuffs, abdominals, hamstrings and quadriceps. This will also have a phase of walking around as well while performing the upper body static stretches to gradually lower the heart rate. There will be gym sessions nearly every week, excluding week 2, as the intensity of the program is not yet high enough, and the activity should last no longer than an hour with 20 minutes cardio and 40 minutes resistant work, excluding the warm-up and cool-down. So the overall time is around an hour and 20 minutes. It is mainly resistance training, which focuses on the upper body and the anaerobic energy system. However, there is continuous training at the end, which targets the upper leg muscles and focuses on the aerobic energy system. Progression of this activity will be made over the weeks by gradually increasing the amount of weight lifted or the amount of sets being performed, along with the time for cardio work increasing. I have left Saturday as a rest day, as it is after my clients' already scheduled basketball training and before their match day, so do not want to tire them out before their game. And I've also left Thursday in between the last training session and their basketball training session free to allow for recovery to be able to train better without discomfort or stiff muscles from the workout. For the second week of their training program, I have increased the overall intensity of the week slightly by adding a 2-kilometre run in the morning of the Wednesday, as they work late, so this will not interfere with anything they said they're committed to, and also allows for more cardiovascular work to keep lowering their heart rate over time. I'll introduce these to the program once a week and will increase the intensity of them by adding to the distance that I'll get them to run. By doing this, it will progressively start to allow for cardiac hypertrophy to take place, which will result in lowering the heart rate. This activity should start with a warm-up of dynamic stretches, including heel flicks, lunges, high knees, upper body rotations and ankle rotations. These should be completed for 30 seconds each, following the activity, a cool-down should take place. Depending on where they are in the run, this can be a walk back to their house from where they ran, or if they ran home, they can walk up and down the street to achieve the same thing of lowering the pulse. By adding this, I have increased the amount of cardiovascular work in their training to allow for progressive overload of the cardiac muscle. Another change I have made for week 2 of the training program is I have changed from playing 5-a-side football to playing 2 3-on-3 basketball games. This is not as intense as 5-a-side football, so I have instructed to play 2 games of 15 minutes, which is 10 minutes less than the previous activity, but will also be performing fartlek training as to make sure the sessions are progressing and reversibility is not able to occur. I will also have changed the type of activity as well, so my client does not feel bored while performing, as that will lead to a less effort game, and they will not benefit as much from doing so. The exercise will begin with a warm-up of jogging the full length of the court and going halfway, performing heel flicks, and the other half doing high knees. Back half doing lunges and following up with a jog back at the end of the original court. I chose fartlek training to perform after the exercise as to keep with the changes in speed and cardiovascular work. Also, as my client will have already been using their legs a lot, there will be no need for a separate warm-up, so can get straight into it without having a long break. I'll get my client to walk for 5 metres, then jog for 10, run for 15 and sprint for 20. They will then walk back to the start and do it again. They will be doing this for 20 minutes, and this will overall add up to the whole session lasting around an hour, with 50 minutes of work and 10 minutes of rest. 5 between games of basketball and 5 minutes rest between games of basketball and 5 minutes rest between basketball and fartlek training. This will then finish with a cool down consisting of walking in a circle for 2 minutes, followed by static stretching of the gastrocnemius, hamstring, tibialis anterior, quadriceps, hip flexors and the ankles. This workout will focus on the leg muscles as well as the aerobic energy system. The final training session for the week is on the Wednesday and is circuit training. And again, I have changed from the first week to add some diversity to what my client will be performing, as to keep them wanting to do the program. The session will kick off with a warm-up consisting of a pulse raiser, being cones turned up and down in an area, and they'll have 30 seconds to turn over as many cones as possible, while someone else, most likely being me, will be doing the opposite. This provides a different type of pulse raise to normal to prevent tedium from warming up. They will then perform a series of dynamic stretches of the upper body, so performing slow arm rotations in smaller circles to larger circles, shoulder rolls, arm rolls, triceps overhead, arm across the body, and finally using a wall stretch. Each of these stretches will be performed for 30 seconds and gone through twice. The circuit provides 5 different stations which my client will be at for 2 minutes each rotation, and will perform 4 circuits overall. At each station there is not a numbered goal for them to reach, rather they are instructed to push themselves to achieve as much as they can in each turn in the 4 minutes provided a maximum effort workout. The stations are battle ropes for 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Station 2 is medicine ball slams. Station 3 is press ups. Station 4 tricep dips. Station 5 sit-ups. Finally, a cool down will be performed as to prevent muscle soreness. This will start with walking around or going for a light cycle to start gradually lowering the heart rate, and finish with static stretching of the upper body and lower body, being the biceps, triceps, pectoral muscles, abdominals, quadriceps, hamstrings, gastrocnemius, gluteals, and the deltoids. Each stretch is to last for 8 to 10 seconds and gone through twice. The intensity of the circuit is meant to be maximal, as each exercise works out a different part of the body, making the reps as many as possible. It follows for the muscular hypertrophy to occur, which is one of their goals. This type of training will last 40 minutes. This can be progressed by either adding more stations, increasing the time spent at each station, or the number of circuits being performed. This will target the upper body mainly and will use the anaerobic and the aerobic energy systems. I have kept all the same rest days as the previous week as for the same reasons. However, have instructed my client to stretch out on the Saturday as to help recover from muscle soreness for game day, as the extra exercise may have made the muscles feel sorer than usual.